So you want to buy a house, but you don't have any idea what real estate contract is. Well, that's great, because in this video, we're going to cover everything you need to know of what a real estate contract will entail. What's going on, everybody? Kyle Powers here, Haven Real Estate Group at eXp Realty. K-State grad, turned contractor, turned real estate agent and investor. As always, thank you so much for watching these videos. I truly do appreciate it. If you do enjoy our content, please go ahead and hit that little subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that little bell so you get notified of any future content, and please share our videos because it does help us grow and reach different people that may need the things that we talk about. So again, let's go ahead and jump right into a real estate contract. Let's just start off with the fact of, why do I need a real estate contract? Well, quite honestly, here's what happens is that years and years and years and years ago, you could have sold real estate on a napkin, right? That doesn't happen anymore because there's not a lot of terms and not a lot of things that can fit on a little napkin, a little drink napkin. So they don't do that anymore. So what these contracts are in place for is to protect you as the buyer and you as the seller. So it's going to lay out all terms, everything that's needed, and anything that's going to be talked about or conveyed with the property. Next thing is that contract is going to talk to you about the parties that are involved. It's going to be the buyer, the seller, and then any real estate agents that may be involved as well. Doesn't always necessarily have to be, but it will have that in there, as well as any title company or anything there. So you're going to have all parties that are involved in the purchase of that property. Then the next part is going to be all the main components of a contract. You're going to have a closing date. You're going to have an expiration of the offer. You're going to have a description of what property that that's being offered upon. You're going to have inspections. Typically, you're going to have financing, whether it's cash or whether it's a loan. Then there's that. Those items will go through every piece of it, and then there'll be a little position at the end of our contracts. There's a little thing saying any additional comments and or things that need to be brought up. So that will also come into there as well. Talking earnest money, talking you want the 1960s Corvette that's sitting in the garage to convey with the property. That doesn't happen, by the way, but it would be neat. But that's what you're looking at that point. Again, I just talked to you about the property description. There's going to be an actual legal addendum or a legal description of what that property conveys. And that's talking about, you know, what section, what quadrant, what you're in. It's going to be the actual like lot number and everything else that comes into that property description, because trust me, I've done this. I've got a client that's gone through this and it is not fun, but the legal description was incorrect versus what was being done there. So you need to actually pay attention to those property descriptions, because it typically happens when you're looking at acres or additional lots or things like that. So paying attention to that property description is going to be a big one. Next thing is price and terms. Again, that can be, you know, you're offering X price with this type of financing with this closing date, but I also want you to give me this much in closing costs, and I want you to do, you know, a rent back to own or whatever those are, right? Those closing terms, those terms can be different and can vary from contract to contract. Laying it all out and giving them everything very clear, written out, is so incredibly simple, but something that is very much overlooked. Next thing on the list is contingencies. Again, this can be anything from, I need to sell my house in order to buy this house in order to make all of that work. I think the most I've had is 5 properties contingent, maybe it's 5 parties involved on one contingency, but it happens, right? So talking about those appraisal contingencies, inspection contingencies, financing contingencies, all of that is all laid out in a particular contract, all there to protect the parties involved, because you don't want to get to the closing table and be like, oh crap, this house didn't appraise, or oh crap, my house didn't sell and I can't close on this deal, and now we're stuck here holding the bag, and everyone in the deal is now upset and angry with everyone. So those contingencies, while be it a pain in the butt, are still very good to have involved there. Next thing is your closing process and the date. You want to know who's going to be working the title, right? Because you want to make sure that you have a clean title when you purchase. What closing date you're looking at, right? Because again, if it's 30 days, 45 days, 60 days, I actually just had one of these happen where the buyer all of a sudden said, I want to move my closing date up to tomorrow. And anyway, no one involved. It was just a mess. But being very clear on what the dates are and what the closing dates are and what all that is very important to have all that stuff involved there. So making sure that it is taken care of there. Next one is gonna be disclosures. Disclosing the seller, you want to make sure that they disclose any lead-based paint, any seller's disclosures where it talks about the age of the roof, age of the units, HVAC units, age of the water heater, whatever it is, anything that they know about the home in particular, that's what they want you want to have on those disclosures and or see on those disclosures, because that's a piece that you really want to make sure of is taken care of, because they may know about it. It's nothing that we can cover as real estate agents, but what it does do is it protects you in the back end. And if you're a seller on that side of it, what I always tell my sellers, just be honest. Be honest with people and make sure that they understand what's happening and what's there, because what's gonna end up happening is they could take you to small claims court or anything like that if they can prove that you knew about something that it was a big deal, right? So just be honest with them, and let's be real, that's the best way to be anyway. Whole nother discussion, but here we are. Okay, so the final thing on our list is probably going to be just the simple fact that you need signatures, right? If it's not signed by all parties involved, it's not a legal document. It's not a legal contract, right? So buyers need to sign, whether it's 1, 2, or 10 buyers. Sellers need to sign, again, whether it's 1, 2, or 10 sellers. Everybody needs to sign that has any interest in this particular sale, because otherwise it is not a legal document. So again, you want to have everything very clear, very written out, crystal clear what's going to happen. And then to make it legally binding, it needs to have an expiration on it, and it needs to have all the signatures of all the parties involved in it. So those are your most important pieces to making sure that you have a good contract. This one's kind of a bonus, but I'll give it to you. Some of the common pitfalls, are probably one of the biggest pitfalls that I've seen with all of this stuff, is the fact that everyone tries to go on their word anymore. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that don't necessarily do that. They say, oh, well, it's not in writing, so we can't do that. That's why the contracts are here, folks. Like, let's be real. I want to make sure that you're protected. Again, hopefully you're using me as your real estate agent, but if you're not, make sure it's written down, make sure it's crystal clear on what the expectations are and what you can kind of expect, because that is going to be your biggest dog in the fight. That's going to be your biggest benefit to everything that we have for you on this end of it. Thank you so much for watching these videos. I really do appreciate it. If you do enjoy this content and you haven't done so already, go and hit the subscribe button, hit that little bell. And if you know of somebody who's interested in this kind of stuff or just needs to know it, please share this video with them. I would love to help them out as well. And as always, if you have any questions about buying, selling, investing, or anything real estate related here in the Manhattan area, I'm here to help. I want to help you. I want to make sure that you have a great experience with the Manhattan market and everything that we have to offer. My phone number is 785-477-5485. My email is kyle@homesforsalemhk.com. And again, I'm here to help you, so please let me know if I can do anything for you. Until next time, I really appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you in the next video.